Well, good day and welcome, and thank you so much for joining me today. I could use a little bit of your help, and I'm kind of counting on you to kind of speak up and be involved and really just kind of help me out today. I have some changes that I want to implement in my channels here, and I really could use a think tank. First off, I brought in this table. And this is one of the ideas that I've had for so long. And I know it kind of looks somewhat like a podcast kind of feel to it, but really, it feels good to have a table here. And if you look at my older videos, you will see that my videos are a little bit stiff, almost robotic. And that is because when you're just sitting in a chair like this, as though you're talking to an audience, and you don't see the audience, it's a little bit difficult to really present yourself kind of relaxed, as though we're just talking to each other. So often my videos are kind of explanatory, where I'm explaining a few things to you, and you kind of go through a checklist of things that you want to say, and that could be very difficult. In the past, I would memorize a few of my ideas, and that was probably the most challenging, because whenever I go to edit, I'm thinking about how, some ideas popped into my brain and it wasn't going to be that way, or there are things that I totally forget and I'm like, I wish I can just go back. And sometimes I did. Sometimes I would do videos 2, 3, 4 times and then kind of edit and splice it in various ways. If you look at the last couple of my videos that are in this space, you'll notice that I'm kind of reading off a prompter, and it took me a little bit of adjustment to get that prompter thing set up so that it didn't look like I was reading. However, I noticed, and you probably noticed too, that there is a certain amount of roboticness to it. You could tell that the pace is different, the tone is monotonous to a certain degree, and although it works out great, probably for an educational video, but the truth is when I present my videos, I would love to have a sort of classroom type of feel. I want to be able to feel that you're in the room with me. I want to be able to have a conversation with you about the topics that I have. And to that end, that's where the comments section is one of those things where I kind of always rely on. However, the comments section is pretty dead on my videos. There's not a lot of comments that come through. And some of my crafting videos, I do get comments, and I get comments of all kinds. I get some that are very positive, some are asking questions, and some of them are just plain rude. Two things that I need your help and guidance on. So the first thing I'm going to say is that all these years, I have to rely on myself to do all the thinking, all the creative ideas, all the editing, all the setup, all the everything involved is just me. And I don't have a think tank. I don't have anybody who really I can get ideas from and honest feedback from. I would love for you to weigh in on some ideas for this particular channel. And I have the number 2 thing that I want to discuss today is that, as kind of like I've already been mentioning here, the video aspects that I've been creating, the format that I've been creating just hasn't really been to its full potential. It's not getting what I was always hoping for, even since like 10 years ago. Was it 10 years ago that I began this channel? Look, man, 10 years to be doing this and, still evolving is one actually pretty good. The fact that we're still here and we're still producing content and we haven't given up. And it's not even about giving up, really. I gotta also say too, I love doing this. So I love being creative and I love learning the process and stuff. So the next part of this evolution is kind of going to be like to kick it in higher gear. I want to be able to bring a better production, one that is going to entertain you, educate you at the same time, and just be a lot more interactive. You can say, you know, like, here's what I want to do. Here is what I really, really want to do, and I really want to be able to pull this off. And I'm just, you know, I'm going to do this, but I kind of need your guidance on how I'm going to do this. So here's what I'm going to do. I've always kind of looked at, I shouldn't say kind of, I've always looked at all sides of a story. I've been doing that since I was young, way before even 10 years old, trying to understand my world. And now, after all these years, I've gotten quite good at understanding the sides of people. And whenever everybody seems to be, when you look around and you see how there's like sort of, you could say conflict. There is conflict, but there are separating ideas, perspectives, and views on all sorts of topics. We can talk about world relationships. We can talk about politics, and we can talk about just the little things that are going on even in entertainment and things like that. Just ideas where there is polarizing opinions, where there's one on this side and the other on this side. And the worst part that I find is that people tend to attack the other side strongly. And they've gotten quite good at it, but also not only has everyone gotten kind of good at it, it's getting really toxic. And when I look at that, I see both sides. I see both sides of the story, and I get where they're coming from. My biggest advocate, and what I've always been trying to tell people around me, is that, you know, you can't paint the other side with one brush. If you are saying nasty things about the people on the other side, then you're ignoring the fact, you're being ignorant to the fact that, you know, there are equally good people on the opposite side, equally smart people on the other side. So you can't really paint everyone with the same brush. You'll even notice, of course, there's always idiots on both sides. And so when we have those conversations, there's just a lot of fighting. And I think that what's been missing is this middle ground. You need to have somebody who's understanding both sides of the story and present it so that there is an even, maybe neutral point of view. And that is what I want to propose. I would love to propose, or I am going to do a segment called Middle Ground. So it'll be your inner being middle ground. Or as you can go from my internet name is Cerelius. For all of you guys who wonder where this name's, if you've been watching my channel for a while and you saw Cerelius at some point in the past, that's where that's coming from. It's just kind of my internet name that I've created for myself way back when I was a young teenager. So I'm almost 50 now. So I've had this name Cerelius in my mind for so long. And I shouldn't say it's an internet name. I mean, it didn't start off as an internet name, but it did start off long ago. And then when, that's how old I am. When the internet phases started, well, what did I go to? I went right to Cerelius. That was my name there. So that's another think tank idea that I would love for you to weigh in on. Do we just stick with your inner being middle ground? Because it's going to be middle ground. I shouldn't even say that. So your inner being middle ground or Cerelius middle ground. Either way, it's going to have the same logo. It's going to have the same connection to your inner being, this channel. And so point here is I said that it's going to be middle ground. but that's what the think tank is about. If you have a better idea for a name to explain what this segment is going to be. So now the big question is do I create a totally separate channel that we're going to call your inner being channel, the middle ground? So we'll call it your inner being, the middle ground, or Cyrillus, the middle ground. Do I do a separate channel for this? Because I think the things that we're going to talk about, and it's going to be in a platform like this, guaranteed. This is working. I like this idea of having the table to be able to talk candid to you like this. And if it feels more like a podcast, then so be it, because this is what we're doing. I feel like this is more interactive, and this is more of my vision of what I was hoping for. And so, anyhow, your idea, do I do a separate channel, or do I just do an additional segment on the inner being channel, like I already have? I have mindfulness, and I have your ancient living and survival segments, and do I add another segment to this? So what would you be interested in? Are you interested in that idea? And to give you more of an idea of what we're going to be talking about, we will talk about American politics, Canadian politics, or other things that are going on in the world. And I'm not bringing it down just to politics, by the way, but I'm just using this as an example. So we have people who are Democrats on one side, we have people who are Republicans on the other side, and the fighting that goes amongst them is quite crazy. It's entertaining, actually. It's entertaining, especially for us who are not Americans. I'm a Canadian, and I'm watching your politics, and I'm being entertained by it. And I find it very interesting, because as I watch the two behaviors of the people involved, and mostly what they are watching to get their information. So the news agencies, your legacy news, what are they saying? And then your other YouTube news agencies, what are they saying? They're not even agencies, they're YouTube channels. Your other YouTube channels, your other YouTube personalities, and what they're discovering and what they're talking about, what are they saying? And so watching all of this, I would love to present to you what side A is talking about versus what side B is talking about. Maybe even, again, figuring out why they're getting this information, what they're seeing. Because I can tell you right now that if you're a Democrat, you are watching certain information that is coming to you via YouTube or whatever social platform that you're using. You're definitely watching certain legacy media news outlets. And then if you're on the other side, you are getting your information from different sources, and it's all targeted to you. It's like you're both watching two different movies. Like you're not able to see what the other side is seeing. And I find that very fascinating. And so that is what I would present. So we would talk about certain things. And I would love to do this weekly. So we would talk about whatever it is that is going on that week. Because I can tell you there's always some form of dual ideas that are clashing in the world about all kinds of things. And it could be entertainment. It could be within the movie industry. It could be Taylor Swift or whatever. It could be, like I could tell you, there are so many different topics that are in conflict in the world that we're watching on a weekly basis. And I would love to be able to present to you the middle ground, the middle side, by bringing these ideas together. And it's not necessarily going to be where it's finding that common ground. So don't think that it's just going to be about common ground, because there may not be common ground. But at least on the middle ground is looking at both points of view, understanding what is going on each side, but also understanding why it's going on each side. And I think that is very much the key. That's what I want to present to you. to get an understanding of why that is. So if you're interested in the psychology of it all, boy, please stick with me and keep watching. Because that would be you'll be interested in that. But if you're also seeing what I'm talking about, like if you're seeing that conflict in your mind yourself, you're going, geez, like something's not quite right here. I know I have my opinion, but some people are just being way too hard, or some people aren't getting the message right. Maybe you are on one side A, and you just wish that the other side got your message. Instead of just calling them fools and idiots, just you wish that they got your side. And if you're on side B, the same thing. To have an outlet, have a source like this where someone can bring it all together and give you a more realistic, true perspective on what is happening. So that's what we're looking for. So I need your opinions on a couple of things. If you wouldn't mind, even if this is your first time seeing me, this is the first time you've clicked on this video and you said, I want to know what this is about. Check out my other videos, or even not. You just, get an understanding of what this channel is about. But I think I explained to you what my idea is. So even if you don't know me, welcome. My name is Rob Ouellette, and I'm looking to change the dynamics of this channel by adding a few additions to it. So even if I do just my mindfulness, this is the setup we're getting. So be patient with me while I make a few tweaks as we move along to the background here, to this whole setup. And also, I have to say, just to confess here, my family has to kind of endure my videotaping sessions because it's very easy to spread sound around the home. And so when I am talking, either I could be interrupting what they're doing, or you might hear the sounds of movement around the house or sounds of activity going on. And I try to avoid that. And sometimes I have to ask my family to be absolutely quiet and absolutely silent. And so I have to say, my family has always been very supportive, and I never once had any backlash towards that. I'm going to be a lot more relaxed with my family, and I'm grateful for them, and I appreciate what they've done. But in order to create more content, I need to be able to allow them to live their life while I'm editing without having to be so quiet and so patient with me. I'm just going to, if you hear some bumps and booms and walking or whatever, then so be it. That's just the way I have to do this, because again, I'm the only one running the show, and I have to do this on my own time, because in case you didn't know, I have a full-time job doing something completely else that has not related to this channel or YouTube. So I have to be able to pay the bills. I have to be able to come home, cook supper, mow the lawn, fix things that break in the house, have a relationship with the family, watch YouTube channels and watch news channels and get all this information. I got to do all of that and still enjoy my life where I'm creating and crafting and hitting outdoors and things like that. It's all still got to flow. So if I'm going to be able to create more content, then I have to be able to just take the moments as they come. And honestly, I should be more scheduled on it. So like having a particular day set up for my video drops. So whether it be a Sunday or Monday, according to my algorithm, Mondays seem to be the most active of the viewers, of my subscribers, but that can change. Anyway, so that's it. So if you don't mind, please weigh in on your thoughts of one, do you like this setup versus the other setup? Is this interaction of podcasts kind of feel a little bit more desirable for you? Is it connecting with you a little bit more? And what if I did all my other presentations like this, as opposed to being stiff, talking, talking to everybody and getting all my thoughts down and things like that in the ways that I've done it in the past, which was challenging. What are your thoughts on the name? Should I stick with Your Inner Being Middle Ground? Should I change Middle Ground to something else? Also, should I keep this on this channel, or should I move it to a separate channel all on its own? And finally, would you be interested? Would you subscribe if I did it on a separate channel? Because one thing that I do know, just a little fun fact about YouTube and the algorithm, is that whenever you create a brand new channel, the algorithm tries to boost you a little bit more just to kind of give you a bit of a push. So the YouTube, for example, would, if I started a new channel, would present my video to a lot of people right from the beginning. So it would be very important to get a good start to it all and just let that algorithm, have a good pace and just get the numbers up. Because right now, I have still not quite hit 2,000 subscribers, and it's growing. I do know that a lot of my subscribers come in for the crafting and stuff like that. So I appreciate all of you, and thank you for sticking with the channel, even though I don't always present crafting and bushcraft and outdoorsy stuff. So it's a bit, again, the reason for that is that to me it's all connection, and this video is getting a little bit long, so I won't explain that to you just right now, but I've explained it before, the connection. So what are your thoughts? Please let me know. I would love for every single person to weigh in on their thoughts in the comments below. If I get 5 views on this, 5 comments. If I get 100 views, 100 comments. If I get 1,000 views, 1,000 comments. Please, everyone, let me know what your thoughts are. I need you as my thinkers, my think tank on this one, so that I can really get this next evolution of my channel and hit it with a bang. And so, until next time, as always, enjoy life. Take care. And I wish you well.